this were a dictatorship, it'd be a heck of a lot easier. Just so long as I'm the dictator.
Cell phone users beware, Big Brother may be listening. The Federal Bureau of Investigation can now hear everything you say, even when the cell phone is turned off.
Welcome back to the most news in the morning. The government taking a big new step, looking to build a huge database of people's physical characteristics. The FBI is taking on $1 billion project to gather fingerprints, palm patterns, even digital pictures of faces. Eventually, it could expand to include iris patterns, face shape patterns, scars, even information about how you walk and talk.
Claims the U.S. government used AT&T's cooperation to spy not only on overseas communications, but to vacuum up virtually all of America's use of the internet for years. Email, Googling, web surfing, you name it. It involved not just AT&T customers, but virtually every internet and telecommunications company, and virtually all email and web traffic in the country, without a warrant, without any mechanism for separating domestic from overseas, without separating suspect from citizen.
I thank the chairman. Under this bill, large corporations and big government can work together to violate the United States Constitution, use massive databases to spy, to wiretap, to invade the privacy of the American people. Let's stand up for the Fourth Amendment. Let's remember when this country was founded, Benjamin Franklin said, those who would give up their essential liberties to achieve a measure of security deserve neither.
Ron Paul and his colleagues in the House were given 15 minutes on the House intranet, the internal internet for members of Congress and their staffs, to read the Patriot Act. It's 315 pages long.
So as you can see, even without habeas corpus, at least 1/10 of the Bill of Rights, I guess that's the Bill of Right now, remains virtually intact. Number 3 is still safe. We can rest easy knowing that we will never ever have to quarter soldiers in our homes as long as the Third Amendment still stands strong. The President can just take care of that with a signing statement.
Something called sneak and peek. The FBI can break into your house, and make it look like it was a burglary and plant a bug under the kitchen table or on the bedpost or behind the toilet and not have to tell you about this for 18 months.
When Nightly News returns this Saturday, talking back security cameras that stop offenders in their tracks.
In Britain, there is no escaping them. More than 4 million security cameras, seen but not heard until now.
Morning, you are being monitored by CCTV.
This system will be all over the UK within about 2 years, and it'll be all over America within about 5.
Because you're convinced it's so effective?
Absolutely.
Others see it as crossing a line.
CTV in Canada has obtained a list the Canadian government has given to its diplomats, instructing them how to deal with Canadian prisoners in countries that use torture. Countries, the list says, that include Syria, Iran, and the United States of America.
And Brian, what it did is it defined a national emergency in a very broad term. And Brian, I wrote about it because I think this is the most broad definition of emergency powers I've ever seen a president award to themselves. And it really is virtually dictatorial powers.
But they said, don't worry, there's a detailed classified version. But now they've denied the entire Homeland Security Committee of the United States House of Representatives access to their so-called detailed plan to provide for continuity of government.
It involves a government-issued ID card that may cause enormous headaches for ordinary Americans and is already being criticized by privacy advocates.
In the new legislation, the national ID card is in it. It takes 3 or 4 pages to describe, and it will be connected with our driver's licenses. The states will be instructed on exactly what they have to do. Social security numbers will be used. Some type of a physical proof, such as fingerprints or retinal prints, have to be on it.
The latest technology for identifying people at the point of sale, for identifying people when they make purchases, is actually the implantable chip that you can actually embed directly into human flesh.
Dr. Priest inserts the RFID tag. With this implant, medical personnel will be able to remotely access Carrie's healthcare history.
I feel so sci-fi.
We have a Florida family who are really pioneers in a brave new world. They have volunteered to be the first ever to have microchip identification devices implanted into their bodies.
But it has many privacy advocates worried. Dr. David Marks tells us more about this emerging technology.
It sounds like science fiction, but Nick Minicucci is getting a microchip implanted in his arm.
You hear the sound of the background, people saying, Big Brother, too much information, a little scary. How do you respond to that?
Well, you know, it's interesting. I used to get that question a lot 2 years ago. Today, we've gotten it a lot less.
Can a microscopic tag be implanted in a person's body to track his every movement? There's actual discussion about that. You will rule on that, mark my words, before your tenure is over.
Got to be careful, America. We're losing our democracy. It's time for us to save it.
He's given you a grim prognostication of our national future. But where he foresees apocalypse, I see hope. I see a new nation ready to take its place in the world. Not an empire, but a republic. Gentlemen, we are in the very midst of revolution. The most complete, unexpected, and remarkable of any in the history of the world. How few of the human race have ever had an opportunity of choosing a system of government for themselves and their children. I am not without apprehensions, gentlemen. But the end we have in sight is more than worth all the means. I believe says that the hour has come. My judgment approves this measure, and my whole heart is in it. All that I have, all that I am, and all that I hope in this life, I am now ready to stake upon it. While I live, let me have a country. A free country.